Everyone, I am Hasina BV, Assistant Professor of CSE Department, Rohini College of Engineering and Technology. This is the video lecture for one of our course, Soft Skills, which is coming under our placement and training programs. We are providing this course to all the 6th semester students of all branches. For this course, we are having on syllabus. The syllabus covers basic C programming, basics of C++, Python programming, and advanced computer science techniques. In this video lecture, we can see some of the concepts coming in this placement and training course, Soft Skills. Let us start with the C programming. We all know C is the basic programming language. If you want to become a programmer or if you want to learn programming, first of all, we should learn C programming. C is a high-level, general-purpose, structured programming language. In C programs, we will use algebraic expressions and we will use some of the keywords which is formed by the English words like if, else, for, do and while. Also, we can use the C language for the system programming. Otherwise, it can be used as machine language as well as we can use it for the development of various applications. And now we can see the basic elements of C. The first important element is character set. C consists of some of the character sets, numbers, and special symbols. The character set consists of all the alphabets of English language like small letter A to Z, capital letter A to Z, and we will use the numerics from 0 to 9 and we will use many special symbols or special characters. These are called as building blocks of C programs. These are otherwise called as tokens. Normally we can classify the tokens into different types like identifiers, keywords, constants, operators, and punctuation symbols. Identifiers. In C program, we will have two types of elements. First one is user-defined and second one is system-defined. User-defined elements are commonly called as identifiers. Identifier is a word used by the programmer to name a variable, function, or label. So identifier is the name given by the programmer, given by us to name a variable, or we can give the name to the function or labels. And while naming a variable or as an identifier, we can use the letters and digits in any order, and the one condition is the first character should be the first letter should be the character. We should not use the digit as a first character. And we can use both upper and lowercase letters as an while defining the identifiers. And keywords. Keywords are some reserved words which has some predefined meaning in the programming language. And another one important thing is C is case sensitive. These are all some of the keywords coming in the C programming like break, auto, int, case, care, continue. So these are predefined words which is having some meaning in our programming language. And let us see about the variable. A variable is the name given to the identifier. So when we give a variable name, a memory will be allocated. In other words, we can say variable is the name given to the storage area. Each variable will be of some specific type. The type is nothing but the data type. The data, we use different types of data. We will use the variable to store different types of data. So these data types are called as data types. And basically we are having the types like char. Char is to store the character data. Then integer. We can have different types of numeric data items. Based upon the size, we can classify the integer data types into int, float, double and void. Void means absence of type. We can see on simple C program. So initially we will have the preprocessor. We should include the necessary header files, and we will start with the main function. Every program should have the main function, and inside the main function at first we will declare the necessary variables. Here we are having on constant, we are declaring on value to the constant identifier, that is pi. We are defining the value 3.14 to the constant identifier pi. And next, with the help of the print statement, we are printing the identifier pi, so that in the output we will get the value 3.14. Now, one important concept in C programming is branching and looping. Branching means it is the decision making statements which will decide what actions to take, and looping is also one of the decision making which will decide how many times to take a certain action. So we are having some of the branching statements like if statement, if else, break, continue, exit, go to and return. For example, this is one of the simple demonstration about how the branching statements are working. For example, we are having the statement if b less than 0. We are having on code block consists of the lines 2, 3 and 4. Out of the code block we are having the line 5 and 6. So in the if statement we are having on boolean expression, that is b less than 0. The boolean expression will be evaluated. So it will return either true or false. Based upon the value of p, we will get true or false. So if the boolean expression evaluates to true, the true statements will be executed. That is line 2, 3, 4 will be executed. Otherwise, if the if statement evaluates to false, line execution comes out of the true block and the false block will be executed. That is the line 5 and 6 will be executed. And important thing is looping. Looping statement is used to repeat some process, repeat the execution for number of times until a specific condition satisfies. Looping is otherwise called as iterations. Commonly we will use 3 looping statements in C programming: for loop, while loop and do while loop. For loop. For loop having the structure for, we will have 3 things, that is the initialization of the iteration variable, limit of the value range of the iteration variable and the manipulation. Here we are having for I equal to, commonly we will use the iteration variable as I. Here we are having I is equal to 1, I lesser than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Initially the value of the I will be 1, and during after each iteration the value gets incremented. I value will becomes 10. After that the loop will be closed. Loop will stop its execution. So for each value of I, the body of the loop gets executed. So in the body of the loop we are simply printing the value of I. So we will get the output like 1, and for the next iteration I will get the value 2, so we will get 2 will be printed. In the next iteration value will be 3, so we are getting 3. In this way the I value will be incremented, and for each value of the iteration variable, the for loop will be, the block of the for loop will be executed repeatedly. So for loop is used to execute a block of code repeatedly until the condition is true. And another one loop similar to the for loop is while loop. Only one difference in between the for loop and while loop is, in the while loop we will have separate statements for the declaration of the iteration variable, for the condition checking and the manipulation of the iteration variables. We will have the separate statements. Initially we should have the initial value declaration. Here also we are using the variable I, and we will use the keyword while. Along with that we will have the expression. So here we are using the expression I lesser than or equal to 10. This is the condition actually. Previously we have declared the initial value 1 to I. We are doing the same program, that is we are printing the value of I, and we are having the statement manipulation of I plus plus as a separate statement. So each time whenever the value is true, whenever the expression is true, that is whenever I lesser than or equal to 10, I value will be printed. After that I gets incremented. So the the body of the loop will be executed repeatedly until the value lesser than or equal to 10. So whenever I becomes 11, the loop terminates, the execution of the loop terminates, and the execution control come out of the loop. And another one important thing in the C programming is arrays, which is one of the collection data type. Array is a sequenced collection of elements of the same data type with a single identifier name. With a single variable name, we can store sequence of data of same data type. So in this example, we can see this is an integer array. We are storing the collection of sequence of integer elements with the same name, that is ages. Here, name of the array variable is ages, and we are declaring the values to the ages. We are having one predefined array with 5 elements. So all the 5 elements are having the same variable name ages, but when we want to mention the individual elements of the arrays, we have to mention it with the index value. That is, the first index is 0. So ages of 0 means 49. Ages of 1 means 48. Similarly, we can specify the elements with the help of the index. That is the position of elements in the array. And structures and unions. Structure is a user-defined data type in C programming, which is also the collection data type. So the advantage of structure is we can store some data items of different data types under a single name. So if you want to do an operation with some entity, means the related data items corresponds to the entity can be stored under a structure. So the structure elements are stored at contiguous memory allocations. In this program, we are seeing the usage of structure. So initially we are defining the structure with the keyword struct, and the name of the structure is student. So inside student we are having the structure members like name, we are having on character variable name. So with the help of the name variable, we can store the name with maximum 60 characters, and we are having another one member roll number, we are having another one member marks. So in the structure we are having 3 member variables, name, roll number and marks. And importantly, we should declare on structure object. So here we are having the structure object STT. So with the help of the object only, we can access the structure members, and we are going to collect the details of one particular student. Okay, so we are going to get this student name. So, and similar to the scanf statement, here f gets with the help, since we are going to give the string data item for the student name, it can be received with the help of one function f gets. So we are storing the name of the student into the variable name, but we have to mention the variable like structure object name dot variable name, that is SDT dot name. So the name will be stored into the variable name, which is actually the member of one structure. The object name of the structure is SDT. And similarly, we are getting the roll number of the student, that will be stored into the roll number, but we have to mention like SDT dot roll number. Similarly, we are getting the marks of the student, which will be stored into the marks variable. So marks variable will be mentioned like SDT dot marks. So all the data items will be received, and that will be stored into the structure and the individual members of the structure. Then we are showing the data items. We are displaying whatever we got previously. So we are displaying the name of the student. For that we have to use the variable SDT dot name, and we are displaying the roll number of the student. For that we have to mention the variable like sdt dot roll number, and we are displaying the marks of the student. So in this way we can have the structured data item, structured data type to store the collection of related data members of different data type. So thank you all.